Well, good afternoon, everybody, and I'm so glad to be here at the InMaricopa Town Hall event. My name is Ann Sabbagh, and I am the only candidate in this race that truly wants to be your state treasurer. I am not using the race for treasurer to be a platform or a springboard to get name recognition for another race. I refer to myself as a technocrat. As the only accountant in the history of Arizona to run for state treasurer, I believe I have a unique set of skills that would allow me to be the most qualified candidate, and is the only job that I am qualified for. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions?
Okay, I'll ask
you
a
already
question.
walking out on me? I only said like 60 seconds worth of stuff, dude.
All right, since I'm not real up on the treasurer's race, and I imagine there's a lot in this room that are in the same shoes that I am, tell us why we should be concerned with who our treasurer is at the state of Arizona.
I want to thank you very much for that question, and I do agree. I think a lot of people are not aware of the role of the treasurer of the state of Arizona. The primary function of the treasurer's position is to preserve and protect the assets of the state of Arizona. That currently is approximately $15.9 billion of assets, which include our state trust lands, which are to be used only for our public school system under the current law. The second job or duty of the state treasurer is to serve as the chairman of the Board of Investments. It is the Board of Investments that takes a look at the assets, both non-liquid and liquid, and by liquid assets we're talking about $5 million for the state of Arizona. There is a board of 10 other individuals who are appointed to that board by the governor, and we work with the state's bank, which in this day and time is the Bank of America, and also with two long-term investment financial firms that help the Board of Investments make the decisions on the long-term investments for the assets of the state of Arizona. And in my opinion, to close on this subject, is that I think this state in its 106-year history is long overdue to have an accountant in this position.
Next question.
See how sexy this race is?
I'll ask a question. Do we have a question?
I will ask a question. What is your opinion of the job that was done by the predecessors?
My opinion of our predecessors, let's go back to the last two most recently elected treasurers that we've had. It was at that time Doug Ducey, who is now serving as our governor. He ran on the platform as a business owner and as the non-traditional politician, meaning he had not run for elected office before. And I think Governor Ducey did a good job of preserving and protecting the assets of the state of Arizona. Our most recently elected treasurer, Jeff DeWitt, who has now taken a position with President Trump's administration as the CFO of NASA, ran also as a business owner and as someone with financial expertise. And I think he has done a pretty good job also. Where my concern is, it's what has happened with the Arizona legislature with respect to the state trust lands of the state of Arizona and the passing of Prop 123, which called for some of those assets to be sold or liquidated, and those funds not to go to our public schools, but to pay debt and to pay a lawsuit settlement, which was the result of the state of Arizona legislature misappropriating funds from our public school systems. And I, as a treasurer, want to make sure that you, the taxpayers, have your voice heard, and I will be the one to stand up to the legislature and say to them, we need to revoke Prop 123. Even though a court order has stated that it is illegal and we cannot do that. I'll give applause for that one. I will also, if I have to, use the treasurer's position as a bullying pulpit and demand that this be taken off of the table, because even though it's been declared illegal, that law, the Prop 123, is still out there. And also, do you really want to get me going on Prop 301 and the public funding? I will absolutely spend time talking to you about that issue. I am infuriated with what has gone on in our state with those funds. And I will do everything I can to make sure that our public schools get the money that we, the voters and taxpayers of Arizona, demanded they get.
Any other questions?
If nobody's going to ask a question, I'm going to tell stupid kid jokes.
I'm going to ask the question. My name is Toby Delgado. I live here in Maricopa. I used to live in the state of Washington. When you're talking about the teachers, the state of Washington borrowed money from the Teachers Association for their retirement system, and they never paid it back. Therefore, the teachers' funds went broke. And now they're trying to take law enforcement firefighter funds to try to merge with the teachers' fund so they can have more money, obviously, in their retirement system. What's the state of Arizona doing as far as the retirement system for the teachers? And I would hope that you would be against them borrowing any money from their retirement system.
I guess it's fairness. Is that part of what you would manage?
Well, kind of, sort of.
All right, well,
How's that for a really
explain
good-
kind of, sort of, so we
It's
understand.
kind of what I say to my clients when with the new tax laws. Is it going to be good for me or bad for me? Kind of, sort of. Let's, maybe, maybe not. But I would like to give you some information that I have on that issue and ask you not to sit down. So if you wanted to follow up with a question. The Treasurer's Office does oversee and protect the assets of Arizona, which includes state pension funds. And it's not only the teachers, it's anyone else who has participated in the state retirement fund. We have made public, the legislature and the Treasurer's Office has made public that we have a serious deficit and an underfunding of those pensions. And it has become detrimental to the credit reporting for the state of Arizona. One thing I think we need to do as a state is make sure that we are not underfunding any of the participants in the state pension programs. This is money that we have taken from paychecks of working individuals and held for them. What has happened in the state of Washington and other states is no different than what the federal government has done to Social Security. We'll borrow from it, we'll pay it later, don't worry about it. As an accountant, as a tax professional, I want to see this stop. I do not believe that the state pension fund should be our unincorporated savings and loan company for the state legislature or any other agency.
Yeah, I quite agree with you. The fact that had the state got out of the retirement business and these people would have put their money into a private investment firms, they would have a heck of a lot more money for retirement than what the state is going to give them. I know for a fact with my retirement system, and I'm from the state of Washington, I would have been retiring at 3 times of what I'm retiring at because I had to go on a state retirement system. And there's so many abuses of the retirement system from the states, and again, they do not fund it. They should be overfunded, if anything. And the other question, you mentioned something about you had two corporations that you guys are using for advice on investments.
Two brokerage firms.
What are the name of the 2 companies?
I do not have that information. I will tell you that every month, every month, the Board of Investments has a meeting that's open to the public. Since I announced my candidacy, I have been barred from attending those meetings. So I am not able to get that information. Apparently, they don't want an accountant who is a candidate for state treasurer to be involved in that process, even as a public member attending. So I do not have the questions for that.
Okay.
The answers to your question, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. Thank you, Ms. Sabbagh, for being here.
Well,
we
that was
appreciate
easy.
That's it.
Well, then I just want to say thank you, everybody, for letting me share my Saturday afternoon with you. God bless and safe drive home.
Thank you.
Oh, and vote Sabbagh for treasurer. A vote for Sabbagh for treasurer is a vote for accountability for Arizona. Thank you.